Hello students, welcome to SR Concepts. I am Ravi Verma and in this video we will discuss the phylum Arthropoda. In the previous video we have discussed the phylum Annelida. In the phylum Annelida, two important features were evolved. The first was the development of coelom cavity, which is the body cavity providing proper space for well differentiated, well developed internal organs. Right. Another feature was the metamerit segmentation. So obviously the phylum Arthropoda will also have these two features, that is they will be eucoelomates, means having two coelom cavity as were the annelids, and they also have metameric segmentation. If we talk about some basic features like symmetry, level of organization, number of germ layers, right? So they are actually bilaterally symmetrical, right? They are bilateral symmetry. They are triploblastic, having three germ layers: ectoderm, endoderm and the mesoderm. In their embryonic stage, these three layers give rise to different structures, different organs in the body, right? And they have organ system level organization obviously, and also they have two more features. One, they have two coelom cavity and they have metameric segmentation, means the body is divided into many segments in these animals also. Now let's look at certain specific features of these animals. First of all, the phylum Arthropoda is actually the largest group of animals, means the animals in this group are maximum in number and very much diverse. They are living in different types of habitats. Another, if we talk about the name of this phylum Arthropoda, that means they have jointed appendages, right? Jointed appendages or jointed legs. Why they are called jointed appendages or jointed legs? Here you can see the word arthropod means jointed legs. So from jointed legs this name has been originated. Dear students, these animals have jointed legs. Here you can see these are the jointed legs. As you can see, what are these? Why they are called jointed legs? Because the legs are made by joining of many segments. That's why they are called jointed legs or jointed appendages. So there are many appendages, there are many legs we can say, which are made by joining of different segments. Another important feature, if we talk about another very important feature of this phylum, is that they have an open type of blood circulatory system or open circulatory system in which blood does not flow in well defined blood vessels. Actually the blood is flowing in open spaces, which are the spaces of coelom cavity, right? So we can say that the coelomic cavity is blood filled, right? The coelom cavity is filled with blood, right? Another important feature is that they have, here you can see that the body is divided into many segments and the body has a tough covering, we can say a tough exoskeleton. We can say that tough exoskeleton is made up of chitin, and you know that chitin is the same substance is present in the cell wall of fungi also, right? So the exoskeleton made up of chitin helps them to survive in very diverse situations. So that's why they became the maximum evolved, or we can say the maximum diversified group of animals, right? So the exoskeleton is very helpful to them for their survival. The examples are these prawn, that is the scientific name is Palimon, right? And you can see the scorpion Palaneus, right? Periplaneta, cockroach, musca, housefly, butterfly and centipede. Dear students, so if we summarize what is Arthropoda, we know that they are bilaterally symmetrical, triploblastic, eucoelomate, having organ system level organization, right? And they have jointed legs, their body cavity is filled with blood, right? So these were a few basic features, and they have an exoskeleton of chitin. Now a very interesting phylum, that is Echinodermata. The animals of this phylum live only in marine waters, so they are exclusively marine, right? And they are exclusively free living also. They are exclusively free living marine animals, means they are found in marine waters only, and they are always free living, right? The name Echinodermata came from the spiny skin, so their skin is always spiny, that's why their name is Echinodermata. Now if we talk about their basic features, again they are triploblastic, they have organ system level organization, right? They have true coelom cavity, but one thing that is very interesting is their symmetry. So their symmetry is actually pentaradial symmetry or radial symmetry. So most of these animals are either pentaradial or radial symmetry. So this is interesting to note that from platyhelminths to chordates, all the phyla have bilateral symmetry, but only this one, that is Echinodermata, has different symmetry, that is pentaradial or radial symmetry. Okay, now certain other important features of echinoderms are that they have a peculiar water driven tube system that they use for moving around. So for movement they have tubes, inside them. They have little feet which are called tube feet. The water circulates in their body through their tubes throughout the body, and the hydrostatic pressure that is being created while the water is flowing through this system, right, is used for movement of the body. So they have water vascular system, right? So another important feature apart from this water driven tube system or water vascular system is that they have hard calcium carbonate structures that they use as a skeleton. So their skeleton is made up of hard calcium carbonate, right? And this is the reason they have spiny body also, means this calcium carbonate structures sometimes come out of the body and make them spiny, right? So examples come out means they are actually protruding outside in the form of spines, right? So they have an skeleton made up of calcium carbonate. The examples are sea star and sea urchin. So there are many, here you can see many examples: Antedon, Holothuria, Echinus and Asterias. Now let's come to the very important phylum, that is phylum Protochordata. So dear students, Protochordata is actually you should be knowing there is a phylum known as Chordata, right? So that Chordata is actually divided into two subphyla. One is the Protochordata and the other is Vertebrata, this one. So Protochordata and Vertebrata. What are basically chordates? What are the chordates? The chordates have a specific rod-like structures in their body towards their dorsal side, that is called notochord. So there is a rod-like structure. Suppose this is an animal, and this will be the dorsal side, means the upper side is the dorsal side. Suppose these are the eyes, this is the mouth. So the upper side is the dorsal side, the lower side is the ventral side. So dear students, the chordates have rod-like structures that is called notochord. This rod-like structure actually supports the body and provides the points for the attachment of muscles, right? So from this notochord, the term originates chordata. Now chordates animals, they are called chordate animals because they have notochord. So if they have notochord, they are called chordates, but they are divided into two subphyla. One is the Protochordata and the other is Vertebrata. Let's understand what is the difference between Protochordata and Vertebrata. So in Protochordata, what happens? The students, suppose this is the animal, right? So in Protochordata, the notochord, which is a rod-like structure, is found either throughout the body or it is just confined to the tail region of the animal, or either this is present only in the larval stage or it may exist throughout the life, right? So there is notochord basically, and the notochord may be either only in embryonic stage, not in adult stage, and maybe in an animal the notochord is existing throughout the life, and the notochord may be either throughout the body or only restricted or limited up to the tail region, right? So this is the protochordata, means the animals which have only notochord, means which have notochord, they are called protochordata. But in vertebrata what happens? In vertebrata what happens? In vertebrata, suppose this is an animal, this is a vertebrate, so the notochord actually will be present in the embryonic stage, right? In the in very young stage we can say, or embryonic stage. But in the adult animal, this notochord will convert into a bone that is called backbone or vertebral column. That will be called vertebral column. Here you can see the vertebral column. So if in a chordate animal notochord changes into vertebral column during the adulthood, this animal will be called a vertebrate. So the animals having vertebral column, which is actually originated from the notochord, are called vertebrate animals, and they are included in the phylum Vertebrata, right? Okay, so the basic difference between protochordata and vertebrata, I think you have got that protochordates have notochord, but in vertebrates the notochord is converted into vertebral column. There are certain other features that we should know about the chordate animals, that they have a dorsal nerve cord, means suppose this is the notochord, this is the mouth, this is the eye, this is the mouth of the animal. Suppose this is the notochord, and there will be another cord that is called a nerve cord, which is a hollow structure. So again that is present in the dorsal side. So this nerve cord is actually a tissue which develops into nervous tissues, or which makes the brain and the spinal cord of the animal. So nerve cord, presence of dorsal notochord and dorsal nerve cord is very important for phylum Chordata. Another feature is the presence, they are triploblastic, obviously they should be triploblastic. And another feature is that they have gill pouches. Here you can see, means gill pouches are present in the pharynx area, and they are actually in the aquatic animals they are found. But in vertebrates and these all the chordates, they are found in all animals, right? And they are coelomates having true coelom cavity. So what are the basic features of phylum Chordata? They have notochord, they have nerve cord, they have paired gill pouches. These three important features are present in the phylum Chordata, right? So what are protochordates? Let's learn a little more about them. What is written? These animals are bilaterally symmetrical, triploblastic, and have a coelom. Obviously in the evolutionary sequence they have all these features. They have bilateral symmetry, they are triploblastic, and they have coelom cavity. In addition, they show a new feature of body design, namely notochord. So they have notochord at least at some stages during their lives, means this may be either during a larval stage only or throughout the life. The notochord, what is notochord? Notochord is a long rod like support structure that runs along the back of the animal, separating the nervous tissue from the gut. So that nervous tissue is actually the nerve cord, right? And the gut is developed by the endoderm, right? It provides a place for muscles to attach for ease of the movement. So we can say that the notochord provides the attachment points for the muscles, and there are more muscles and there is more better movement in the body. Protochordates may not have a proper notochord present at all stages in their lives or for entire length of the animal. This we have already discussed here. So protochordates are marine animals always, and their examples are Balanoglossus, Herdmania, and Amphioxus. The Balanoglossus, here you can see a protochordate. Here is the Balanoglossus has been shown here. As you can see that the body is divided into three parts: proboscis, collar, and this whole part is called trunk. So proboscis, collar, and trunk. So the Balanoglossus has been divided into these three parts, right? One more thing is written here regarding the protochordates. This is completed actually. Now let's move on to the phylum Vertebrata, right? So what are phylum Vertebrata? As you now know that phylum Vertebrata are actually not phylum, this is actually the subphylum, right? And this is a part of phylum Chordata, we can say. So these are actually the chordate animals, right? And they have a vertebral column which is actually developed from the notochord, right? So vertebrates are bilaterally symmetrical. Again, they should be bilaterally symmetrical. They are triploblastic. They have a true coelom cavity. Their body is again segmented with complex differentiation of body tissues and organs, and they have all the features of phylum Chordata, right? So vertebrates are actually grouped into 6 classes. So vertebrates have been grouped into 6 classes, right? The class Cyclostomata, then the class Pisces, the class Amphibia, then Reptilia, Apes, and then finally the mammals. So we will discuss these all animals, these are all classes in the next video. Thank you.